Welcome back. Mitch Argon here with Calneo Realty. I'm going to take you through the Reno Tahoe real estate market in just a few minutes for November 2021. Let's get started. Okay, let's start with median price for certain cities and areas within the region. You can see here that we are, for the most part, dropping back down here into the teens as a percentage year-over-year increase. You'll notice that the average of the last 6 months is higher than what we're seeing here. And this is an indication that the market rate of appreciation, that the rate of appreciation on prices is slowing in the marketplace. I'm going to show you a chart in just a moment that will highlight that even a little bit better for you, which is from the Greater Reno Tahoe Real Estate Report. Also shows median price for each of the same markets, excluding Tahoe because it skews the chart quite a bit. And it shows each month over the last 2 years. So this column is October of 2021, and here is October of 20 and October of 19. And you'll see, of course, a steady rise through 20 and 2021. But you'll notice that right about here, which is May of this year, we sort of started to hit a plateau effect. And if you look at, for example, this blue line, which is the Reno market, it has been exactly flat since May of this year. Other markets have been bouncing around a bit, but they have begun to also flatten out and will probably follow suit with Reno. What happens next, we don't really know. We can see some leading indicators, which we'll discuss in the next slide. But the reality here is that the markets have flattened out, and while we're still seeing year-over-year appreciation, when you look at this on a month-by-month basis, the markets are fairly flat. I've had a lot of people ask me if we're seeing prices drop as a steady trend, because people are seeing listings coming out with price reductions. And there's a subtle difference between the market going down and seeing price reductions in the marketplace. The price reductions that we're seeing in the marketplace are in many cases associated with sellers who price the homes high, thinking the market would continue to rise, perhaps ignoring the advice of their agent. And when the markets haven't risen to meet that same pace, they've had to reduce those prices to get those homes sold. But the net result is what you see here. The markets have been generally flat through the last 5-6 months. So what's likely going to happen next with pricing? Well, in addition to the pricing over here and the homes sold in the center on this chart, the month supply of inventory is your best indicator. You can see here that the month supply of inventory for November of 21 over November 20, that number is up quite a bit as a percentage, but still very low relative to the historical measure down here, which is whether we're in a buyer's market or a seller's market. So even though we're seeing prices flattening off, this month supply of inventory number will need to get quite a bit higher before we start to see prices steadily decline if we do reach that point. We were moving towards that direction pre-pandemic. Pandemic hit, the months supply of inventory tightened up, went down dramatically, and now we are going back towards seeing that number gradually increase on a month-by-month basis, which means the markets are balancing out and the rate of price appreciation is slowing. So this is a chart here that I wanted to share in today's video with you, and just point out a couple different things. This chart gets updated once a quarter, and I call it the bubble chart because what it does is it goes back all the way to the first quarter of 2000, and this is for single family homes in the Reno Sparks, the cities of Reno Sparks only. It's not the entire Northern Nevada region. And what you can see here is the green line shows the median price on a quarter by quarter basis going up through the last peak in our market, which was Q3 of 2005 at 355,000. Then we had the Great Recession that took prices down to Q1 of 2012, which we're getting very close to 10 years away from, at 145. And we've steadily risen up past that red line in 2016. And we had a very rapid rise in this median price just recently, which you can see illustrated on this chart. The red line shows a 1% per quarter appreciation rate, which is consistent with what we were seeing in the late 1990s, kind of a flatline rate of growth. That's what that red line represents. So the two things that I wanted to highlight here, which may be coincidental, they may be significant, we'll know in time. But the first is that we are now 43% above this red line as of Q3 of 2021. And what I thought was interesting, and what I want to just point out and share, is that we were 43% below the red line in Q1 of 2012. So we're almost 10 years later at Q1 of 2022, which is going to happen in a few months. And we are the same percentage above as we were the percentage below when the market started to rise back up again. So I thought that was a kind of an interesting view of the symmetry on that. The other thing that I want to point out here is that the rise above the line here at 530, which is a combined median price in Q3 over the 369, is around $160,000. Back in 2005, this 355 number over this 195 is also about $160,000. So there's some interesting parallels between where we are now and where we were at the last peak, as well as the last bottom of our markets along this trend. Now, given that $160,000, that is much less significant today because the prices are higher than it was back in 2005. So you got to take a look at that in context, but I think nevertheless, it is an interesting way of looking at this, and that we're starting to see some thresholds based in absolute dollar or percentages above and below that are becoming kind of mirror images or bookends, if you will, when you look at this chart. Keep in mind that month supply of inventory number is going to need to climb steadily higher before we start to see the markets truly flatten out and correct, or possibly see any reduction in pricing in the marketplace. That's it for this month. I hope this has been useful for you. All of these charts are in the Greater Reno Tahoe Real Estate Report, which you can click and get access to just below this video on YouTube. There's quite a lot of detail in that if you are interested, or if you're doing research, or if you're doing any market studies. It's a great resource. If you have any questions, please feel free to give a call, reply to the email you may have received, or post something here online. You can reach out to me or any of our agents who you may already be working with in our Reno or our Carson Valley offices. This is Thanksgiving week. I'd like to wish everybody here a very, very happy Thanksgiving with your family and loved ones. Until next month, enjoy yourself. Thank you for watching.